wonderful people. Welcome to 40 End, your newest favorite podcast where we're talking to 80s babies about living life with freedom, fun, and purpose. This is Ryan, a.k.a. Rai.
And this is Keyondra, a.k.a. Kiki. What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back.
Thanks for joining us. So how are you, Key?
I'm doing well. For those of y'all who don't know, we just came back from our hometown, so we were traveling. So just kind of like, what up, St. Paul, St. Peasy, St. Pablo.
We don't hold that against her.
No, so just kind of like getting back into our groove. We had a long weekend back home.
Yeah.
First home. And no, it was good just to kind of like obviously come back home from being in a hotel and trying to get our run-ins and see family and friends and all that. But I'm feeling good. Back in the grind. Back on here. What's up, y'all? Salut.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it was good to be on the road. You know, traveling for work is always a good thing. That means we're getting money.
Getting to the bag.
Can pay some bills. But yeah, it was cool to see family. We got to record with Larissa when we were up there.
Yes.
So
check that out, y'all. Check out
that
40 and emo episode. It's a game changer.
Yeah, so it felt good. But the coolest thing was we got to be with our kids.
Yes. We had our baby.
Yeah.
So we had our baby.
My daughter, she had been with us for a couple weeks before we went up there, but we got to surprise
my daughter.
Your daughter. That was really sweet.
Kennedy, she really didn't know we were coming. And it was just bomb. Let her play hooky, missed a day of school, got to spend some time with her sister, and yeah, it was a good time. Got to see my nephews, got to see my goddaughter and her daughter. So yeah, my cousin, shout out to Booty and Britt.
Yes.
So no, it was a good time, good vibes. Again, we don't always get to see everybody, and we be trying to make the rounds, but we'll be back. We'll be back in the spring.
For sure. And it did feel good to have all the kids around like that, and got us thinking about. And we've talked a lot about both when we were there and when we since we've been back. Like, damn, we're really doing this co-parenting thing.
Yes.
And I know I said, actually, in that episode with Larissa, 40 and Emo, I said co-parenting is the hardest shit I've ever done.
Man.
And so let's talk about that this week. Let's talk about co-parenting.
Yeah, let's get into it.
And I hope all of y'all out there who are co-parenting this is resonating. If it's easy for anybody, please send us an email and tell us how you're doing it, because this shit is real in the field. And I mean that. My co-parent would say the same thing about me, so that's no shade. It's just a hard thing. Parenting is hard as fuck, period. But then to do it when you have to communicate over distance and over time, like, it's hard,
over
right?
Lines of differences.
This ain't meant to shade nobody, but Key, you've been co-parenting longer than me. Your daughter's a little bit older. Also, you were separated and doing the solo parenting thing longer than I have.
Yes.
So maybe let's start with you. Tell us, what's been your co-parenting journey?
My co-parenting journey, me and Kennedy's father are in a great space and place.
What up, James?
What up, James? Shout out to James, Jimmy, baby daddy. All those good things. Like, no, we're in a good space and place. You know what? We are friends. It took us a while to become friends. So, of course, we had to go through the drama and the, emotional roller coaster of separating and putting our personal shit to the side, to focus on the greater good. What is best for our daughter? I think it's been my biggest challenge has been wearing that poker face and not allowing my emotions of how I felt about my co-parent affect the kid. So I done a lot of, curse outs and crazy conversations. I would have to excuse myself from the room. The normal shit, me wanting to vent to family or friends about, our difficulties. I would have to, make sure Kennedy wasn't in the space, because my biggest job was like, I'm not going to change her lens on her dad, because my experience is coming from his ex point of view. In her experiences, that's her dad. So it took a lot of maturity, a lot, y'all, for me to never, of course I shaded and talked about him the whole nine, everything, but I had to always do it keeping the kid in mind into where she was not in the space and place to where she would start to think of her dad in a different space. Even when me and him weren't on good pages and, he may have not been doing everything I wanted him to do in a correct manner or whatever.
As a parent.
Yeah. Again, when he and I separated, I had Kennedy with me. So I knew, okay, I'm going to be on full-time majority. He always was the kind of guy who worked multiple jobs. But now I'm like, hey, we're not in the same house. You got your things. I got mine. I'm working. I'm going to school. We have daycare. We have these things.
Yeah.
And I know, there once was a time where, he would do things in order to kind of control me. Like, well, damn, if I don't take the kids, she ain't going out. Or if I don't do this, she can't do this.
Is that because of, so one of the things I think, the unique difficulty of co-parenting, right, where I want to say like traditional, although that's kind of a whack ass term, but the like live-in parents, we'll say like that, they don't have to deal with the grieving of the loss of a romantic relationship, right? It may not be the greatest relationship,
yeah,
but they're in it, right? They're still married, or they're still together, or they're still doing whatever it is. Like, so how did that play into developing, how did that impact your co-parenting, right? The idea of like grieving y'all's relationship and then still having to co-parent at the same time, right?
It impacted it a lot. Now, I can only speak for me. Like, I wasn't going through the grieving process just because by the time we had ended, I had already been there, done that. And I'm just like, no, this is not what it is. You had already
done that.
I had already mourned it. And so, again, that was something I had to learn. Everybody ain't where you at, right? So just because I'm like, we good, we ain't been together, we ain't been happy to years, let's move on with life, that wasn't his reality.
You kind of the savage like that, too.
I'm very
That's
much
that
savage.
Scorpio.
Get your ass. Get you good. So I'm a thug. I'm a thug it out. I'm resilient. Let's get to it. Hey, I got to go to work. You say you want to be friends, right? Well, come on, friend. Let's do this. And so he would try to fake the funk. But he was hurting. He was mourning the loss. Now he was finally having his process. And, and a lot of times for us, especially us hands-on mamas, we ain't got time for that. We got to get to work. We got to get these kids dropped off. We got hair to do. We got this. We got that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't have time to be there. Right.
Right.
But I have her full time. And so everything is falling on me. Yeah. And when I would reach out and, hey, this is this. Well, I have work. I have this and this. Well, now we're no longer in the same household. So yeah, you are free to kind of do you. I got the baby, right? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe type shit. Like, and that's no shade again. Like we worked through our shit. It took some time. It was definitely an ebb and flow. So it was like good, bad, good, bad, good. And what it really stemmed from though, is like, we had to do our individual work. And so I can pinpoint the spots where it was like, James hadn't done his therapy yet. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taking everything personal, a personal attack. You're getting defensive. You want to be argumentative. I'm calling, asking about pull-ups, and you talking about some shit me and you was beefing about 2 years ago. Where they do that at?
Unproductive.
I don't want to hear it. So now I'm in the mood, and now, so it was just the back and forth to where you're like, well, fuck you. I'm not going to ask you for shit, right? But then I got to the point, guess what? I done had this baby by myself. So I'm dropping her off. She's on her way. You know what I'm saying? And this is what it's going to be, because this all isn't going to fall on me. So it took time. Again, like I said, prior to meeting you, I had been single for 5 years. So it was definitely a work in progress to where we were able to get on one accord. Like, all right, enough of the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is, even though he and I weren't having these conversations in front of Kennedy and she didn't witness this, energy is energy. When I drop that baby off and get this fucking kid out of my car and keep it pushing, you know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I know she could feel that. I know she could feel like, damn, my mama just switched it up. You know what I'm saying? But my overall goal was like, yo, I want to be able to demonstrate something healthy. And I wanted to do something different because my mom and dad didn't gel. You know, my mom couldn't stand my dad. And
so you were raised in co-parenting.
Absolutely. Unhealthy co-parenting, right?
How did that influence how you even came to the idea that co-parenting was a viable option? Because I'm going to tell my story, but that's a big part of my story too around it.
I think the reality is coming from a co-parenting upbringing. I'm like, it's possible. But I was in the mindset of like, I want something different than I had, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I know, again, our parents did the best they could with what tools they were given. Shout out to my mama, to my daddy. But it was like, okay, y'all you didn't know it all. You didn't have it all. And also like now being more mature, especially more mentally and emotional mature, it's like, but you could have did something different. You could have worked the plan a little different. And so for me, I'm like, I'm going to work this plan different because I'm like, we can have a blended family. Like, I want to be good. I was on the shit, you know, I'm trying to boost his fucking morale. Like, listen, you can get a girl. I'm going to have my guy. We can all be kicking it. We can vacate. Like, in my mind, we can do this.
I'm holding on to that vision.
Like, we can do that. Like, my thing is, I want to be healthy and happy. So then that pours over into Kennedy's. You know what I'm saying? When the parents not healthy and happy, y'all, let's be real. We have low tolerance and patience for our children. Anything that's going on top of balancing our adulting, right? Bills, jobs.
Absolutely.
The kids' extra curriculum, this, that, you know, whatever. If you on auntie duties, if you on big sis duties, whatever, you know, I like I said, I wear a lot of hats. I got a lot of different hats. And so the biggest thing was like, how do we execute this in a healthy manner? And how do we get back to where we were previous to the downfall, right? Like at one point in time, we were cool. We were good. So how do we do that now, saying, okay, there's not a romantic aspect between us. We now have this child. Whether we like it or not, we are family. We are bonded for life.
That shit don't stop when they turn 18.
It does not
realized
stop.
that, and I'm like, oh, Lord, there ain't no countdown to this.
No, because your baby's going to have life events. And how dare that child feel like, well, damn, I can't invite my mom or I can't invite my dad because I have this thing. There's going to be college. There's going to be them having kids and getting married or, you know, whatever. There's always going to be, life is going to be lifing. And I didn't want to put my child in a predicament to where you felt like we both couldn't be there. Or you have to decipher, well, this is more a mommy thing than a daddy thing, you know? So I motherfucking bit the bullet and I remained being the bigger person in controlling my emotions throughout the process. And finally we had a turning point and James and I were able to get on one accord and stay there. But the biggest thing was it's when he, you know, it told me he's been going to his therapy. And that's when I noticed the change because it was like, okay, you ain't just switched up and now 3 weeks later you pissy.
Right,
and so
right.
we taking 8 steps back because that was the dance we did, baby. We was good at that. We be good for 2 months. And then he get mad or, you know, I trigger him in a way. I'm not saying I'm an angel. And now shit's flipped.
Right.
And now I'm back to at his neck because you done pissed me off or, you know, whatever the dumb shit was. It wasn't productive. It wasn't positive. It was draining. It was a waste of energy. And I made the conscious decision, I don't want to go there with you.
Yeah.
So either we can keep it very business-like and I can keep it business. I'm not going to kiki with you. I'm not going to indulge you. It's going to send this kid to the car. So do you want to live a life like this where you and I are just coexisting in little increments of time and or no, we can be cordial. We can have a baseline of respect for each other. We can actually work towards being friends because we both are invested in this baby. You know what I'm saying? And so once we got there, it was good. And, you know, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, okay, when is shit gonna flip? When is it gonna flip? You know? Because there was a time when, you know, when I noticed, you know, we had a little snafu when he finally met you. In terms of you know me, I'm transparent. So there was a time, you know, me and him would be like, oh, you're dating. We popping our shit. You know what I'm saying? And of course we went through the phase where we were still dating and we were still sleeping with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, well, we're comfortable with each other and we know each other. And I was like, no.
I didn't have that, but that's a whole nother story.
I'm like, shit, come
We weren't sleeping together when we were together.
Well, I feel sorry for you, but
look, me too.
Listen, we would hook up and I would send him home. Because we're not going to confuse the baby. She's not going to wake up and see her dad laying in the house. None of that. Nope. You can drop the dick off and you can go home, But it's like I knew that dick. It was safe. I tried to be in the streets and it wasn't for me. So it is what it is. And then it was just like, no, but I don't want that either because I know I don't want to be with you like that. It's messy. And it is. And then I felt like, damn, that's kind of leading you on. Though you say you're with this, your actions show different. You know what I'm saying? And so now I was like, okay, no, if I'm going to date, I got to get outside my comfort zone. And this is no longer benefiting us. You know what I'm saying? Not in the way I needed it to. So yeah, we got past that, and then we were still cool. And then it was like, again, I'd never have been serious with anybody. And because you and I were building a legit friendship, and we both had children in the age range.
Check out that episode.
Period. We both
40 and friends.
We both had children in the same age. I'm like, nah, I want our kids to kick it. Let's have play dates. And so James and I agreement always was, anybody Kennedy was going to be around for real like that, we would introduce to each other. You know what I'm saying?
We had a similar agreement.
Absolutely. I'm just like, no, you deserve to be able to put a face with a name, because if your child is talking about this person, you're not like, what the fuck? Well, who the fuck is Ryan?
Catch them through the mall and they start running towards this stranger. What the fuck?
Well, anything. And also, I was trying to be mature in that sense of like, you get to have that, even though technically what I do on my period time is my business, right? When you want to get to the legalities of things, what the court says. But I wanted to keep that where it was like, I ain't trying to be on no fuck shit. You're her dad. You have the right to know who she's around. You know what I'm saying? You get to get a feel. So we kind of backslid then. But he always thought you were cool. He was like, no, he's super cool, whatever.
James has always been nothing but respectful to me. Shout out James. Like, I remember the first time that we talked about that. It was like fairly early in the dating. And I remember you told me, no, me and James are cool. Like, if I needed anything, he would be there. He's a cool dude. He's just not my dude in this way. Right. And it was all love. Like, you even said that, like, no, I love him. I'm not in love with him.
Absolutely.
And that's not fair to be in that. But like, I was always like, oh, that's really dope that they had that. Obviously, I've seen some of the ebbs and flows of that, but
Absolutely.
James has been nothing but respectful.
I know he's a stand-up,
fuck with James.
Solid guy.
Yeah.
And to this day, again, lucky to have people like that in my corner. Again, like and that's not to sound shade or anything. I know if I was in need of something, like he could definitely be in the Fave 5 to be like, I can call James and I know he's going to come through.
James will come through.
So I appreciate that. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to get us back there. Like, yo, we was cool. Let's be cool. And so, yeah, so he's in a good space and place. Shout out to him. He's engaged, getting married this spring.
Congratulations.
Congrats to James and Alicia. His partner's dope. And we really had started demonstrating what a blended family could look like, i.e. you and I and he and his partner, we all fucking met in a snowstorm to have dinner and closed the restaurant down.
We sure did.
And it was cool ever since then, because I wanted her to feel like, okay, this ain't that. She ain't crazy. We all have pillow talk, so I don't know what her perception was. Like, he done said this, that, and the third, because I know he done said some shit. And that's cool. But
that's to be expected.
No,
like, that ain't even like, if you ain't doing that, I don't know what's up with you. Like,
I'm just saying it's normal. But yeah. I wanted her to get her own perception of who I was. And also I knew you were very much going to be a part of my daughter's life. So I wanted to get a read and get the energy level on you.
Yeah.
As well. And just to create that baseline of respect and just see like, yo, are you on this shit too? Because I want y'all to come to cookouts. I want to be able to kick it. I want you to, our plan at that time, it wasn't solidified, but we're like, yo, we're going to move. I want it to be a situation where you're coming down to wherever we were going to be located. And it's like, nah, y'all got a room at the crib. Y'all got a spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Come see your kid. Hey, come through. I didn't want it to be tense. I didn't want it to be I've heard of some people say, what's it called? Like, you can't cross the threshold. Like, some people's daddies never could come inside the house. Like, they pull up, pick the kid up.
That sounds like some Melody Holt shit. Melody and Martell.
Right?
But that, like, there's reasons for that.
No, absolutely. And again, we had reasons for that. I didn't want that to be our narrative and drag out, and that's the energy we're keeping. Because number one, I'm like, we're better than that, first and foremost. And I didn't want to normalize that being normal and Kennedy thinking that's healthy. Well, this is how my parents were. This is, that's how we get in fucked up relationship. This is what love is, right? When he tell me I ain't shit, that's what, like, I'm just
hard no.
Well, so I'm like, I'm committed to doing something different. And again, it was not easy, but those boundaries, me doing my own work, because that's what kept me sane and kept me from dipping to the dark side on a lot of times. A lot of times, right? And then I was grateful when he finally was able to meet me there, because he had did his work, and he's like, he's sick of the bullshit. And we both, now we're in a good, happy, healthy space. Blended family. We've done birthday parties together. Again, they invited us to their wedding. They're invited to ours. Life is good, and it's really like, it's authentically good. It didn't happen overnight. It happened organically. We got back to where it needed to be. And yeah, so much to where now, why this comes full circle. So Kennedy was finishing 5th grade and finished the school year with James and Alicia, because we moved down here just to check on family sooner than we thought. And they were safe and suitable. And she's got a good father and a good support in the village with her dad and his family. So the benefit of having co-parent is like, you got 2 families. You get the duality of everything. And I felt comfortable. So again, us putting that time in with them was needed, because I'm like, I can't leave my baby. I needed to feel comfortable.
Right.
With, whatever, daddy ain't gonna do it like I can. But also I'm like, that's her dad. She loves her dad. And the reality is, we're not going to do everything the same. But he knows how to do them. He's capable. He's got it. And also, I'm just like, that's a great way for them to continue to build their bond and their relationship.
Yeah.
So our current arrangement is Kennedy is finishing 5th grade in St. Pablo. And she'll begin middle school down here.
A J.J. Hill graduate.
Yes. And then she gets to have, agency for high school. Where would you want to be? After middle school, would you like to continue that, with us in the South, or would you like to go back up with your dad and go back to Minnesota? So it's the best of both worlds. Dad will have breaks and, fun times in summer and all that jazz. And they're always welcome to come to our home and visit whenever they would like. And it feels good just to have finally gotten over that fucked up curve. Like, it feels amazing to be in a good space and place to where we can be in space with each other, and it's authentically, it's good. It's literally all good. Like, there's no ill will, there's no hard feelings, there's no biting of the tongues. Like, we're shit, we living. We just living.
I've told you, you and James are co-parent goals for me, and I want to, like, again, like, James, salute to you, man. I'm happy for you and Alicia, and truly, y'all do give me hope, because it wasn't easy, right? No. I was there for some of the ups and downs, the hard parts.
Oh yeah.
When I played my lane, like, oh no, I get that. I see from my guy's perspective, I see from your perspective. Yeah, man, and I'm in a bit of a different place, right? Our co-parenting journey is a bit newer. And we haven't been able to hit that spot where I think you called it, like, the turning point.
Yeah.
Like, we still, I think, have a lot of personal resentments and things that we haven't talked about that color how we respond to one another.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. Again, this ain't about shading nobody. It's just, it's hard, right? It's hard to do your own work. On some real shit, I think, like, when I didn't want the divorce, I don't want to say it took me out, like, came out of the blue, Because when I actually think about it now, looking back, I'm like, damn, we weren't happy for a minute. Matter of fact, I think I said I know.
Yeah.
I said I wanted the divorce a whole year before she did.
Okay.
Before it got real, right? And now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, if you're going to tell somebody you want a divorce and then, they wait a year, like, you still kind of were the one that said you wanted a divorce. But my point was, when she was like, nah, I'm done, I was devastated. Like, this was the most important thing to me, and I done, quote unquote, failed at it.
Yeah.
And so I went and did my work right away.
Yeah.
And I talked about it in the 40 and Emo episode, the episode with Larissa. Like, I thought I did my work. It wasn't until I really got read in therapy that I started.
Well, and a good therapist is gonna read you down, honey, read you down.
And I don't want to speak on what Tiffany was thinking. What's up, Tiffany? I hope you're good. If you're listening to this, I'm gonna quote my man Ali. I doubt you are, because if you made a podcast talking about me, I ain't listening to that shit. But nah, man, it's been very difficult. We're still in a place where I think we get a lot of our personal emotions. We can't keep the main thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember those days.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm really hopeful that we can get there. I will say this. It's not that we don't have our moments, right? Like, we have our moments. We both care deeply about our daughter. That's never in question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they don't, I remember when Zoe asked me, like, how come you and mom can't be like Kebe and James? And it was really in that moment that I was like, damn, like, we're not there, right? Like, we're not there. Yeah, we ain't at each other's necks. We ain't arguing. We ain't cussing at each other.
But the energy's still the energy.
But the energy is the energy.
The energy's
we're
still
not
the
there,
energy, yeah.
Right? And then, I'm not going to spill all the tea, at least not right now. We might wait till the Patreon part of
That's
this.
for that cuffed edition,
Go ahead and get on that cuffed edition.
Get on that cuffed level.
Matter of fact, I know on deck for the cuff level, you might be able to hear a little segment with James, co-parent James.
Me and my baby Daddy.
Co-parent Tiffany is a few months away from an episode on this motherfucker. But no, it was it's been a challenge. And the realest shit I can say about co-parenting is be careful what you wish for. So I remember...
Say more.
Yeah, I remember vividly being in my office. I was working at Hiawatha and going through this shit and trying to be present for young people and working plus grieve. Like, I was fucked up.
Anybody who knows him,
hey,
I believe he was fucked up.
Shout out to Morgan and Dylan and B and all the people who were like, yo, don't.
Gang.
Kalia, like, yo, don't. They really held me down. They insulated me. I was fucking taking... It was like -30, and I was like, I'm about to go outside. I had to cry. I wasn't going to let nobody see me cry. Tears was freezing to my cheeks and shit.
Lips quivering.
It was all bad. But it was, I don't even remember what were we talking about when I said say more. Damn.
About be careful what you wish for.
Oh, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, I remember sitting in my office and being like, yo, I'm going to come out of this better, right? Like, knowing I'm doing my work. I'm going to come out of it better. And I don't think she's doing her work, and she's not, and she's going to be miserable. And I'm going to be so fucking happy. Like, and now all I want is for her to be happy and for her to be healed. And
absolutely.
I don't want, I think that there has been some moves that were made just to slight me. Or matter of fact, I know, right? Like, I'm not going to spill all the tea again. Not right now, not for free.
Cuffed edition.
Yeah. Where it's been like, yeah, I didn't tell you X, Y, or Z because I didn't want to hear you were right. Or I didn't want to hear, it made me look bad type shit. And really the only person that damages is my daughter.
Absolutely.
Is our daughter.
It affects the babies.
You know what I mean? And so, seeing you and James, and not just where you're at now, but seeing the progress that y'all made, really gives me hope, because what I want more than anything is for that blended family shit. You know what I mean? And I know, I'll just say, like, I know you've reached out, and then when that shit gets met with nothing, with silence, it's like, damn, like, look, we're here, right? Like, we're here. So
ain't going not nowhere.
4 people that care about your kid versus, you know, I'm like, what's good? What's really good?
I mean, I'm big on village, and like I said, I think, and I thought, I was like, yo, to be able to build a beautiful blended family would be everything. Again, just to normalize. No, you have all these people. You have bonus parents and your parents who love on you, who support you. Because I want my child to be able to feel like, yo, there's some things, come on, let's be real, there's some things our kids ain't gonna come to us about. But to know she could talk to you, James, or Alicia, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's dope. And the reality is, y'all gonna relay it back to me. So, like, let's have an alliance, and let's have a common goal, right?
The piece about that is, if Kennedy came to me and says something and I bring it to you, matter of fact, at this point, I could bring it to you and James. We on a group thread.
Exactly.
Right? Like, there wouldn't be no energy or no time wasted on, like, why did Kennedy bring that to Ryan and not me? That's not her dad.
No, the energy is, how do we work as a collective?
Yo, good looking. Let's make sure we're there for Kennedy.
Yeah.
Right? And my situation was not that. We are beefing about ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
And it's really heartbreaking. And again, I'm trying to keep it real. I'm not trying to shade. I don't think we're gonna be here forever. But
I hope not.
But we're gonna talk about what needs to, how do we get to healthy co-parenting and blended families. But that shit ain't for free, motherfucker.
Not for the free 99.
You're gonna have to subscribe to the Patreon to get that conversation. You can even get the beautiful visuals. What's up, Patreon? What's good?
What's goody?
Yeah, you get that. So
this
Patreon,
is where we wrap it up for that free shit.
This is where we leave that free 99 crowd. This is the grown folks, the ones who got a little extra bread at the end of the month to listen to some co-parenting bullshit. So peace, free people, and what's up?